Irish travelers are also called tinkers or gypsies. The name tinkers is said to have came from the sound of a hammer hitting metal. In the 2011 census, tinkers made up 0.6% of Ireland's population. They are indigenous people to Ireland. The tinkers are white, English-speaking, and Catholic. They wore clothes that were common to the Irish community, and they were nomads. In addition, many travelers went around the country begging or looking for jobs. They added value to the economy. It was not until 2011 that the Tinkers were considered an ethnic minority in Ireland. It is thought that the Tinkers split from the Irish settlers at least 1,000 years ago. They used to travel around Ireland on foot, but then they started traveling on wagons that were pulled by horses, looking for whatever jobs that they could find. The travelers were looking for jobs such as chimney sweeping, tinsmithing, agricultural work, peddling, and horse stealing. On the other hand, most tinkers today rely primarily on scrap metal collecting, begging, and government welfare subsistence. The Tinkers have a variety of rituals. They have rituals for marriage, death, and exorcisms. The exorcist rituals are performed on people and things that are believed to be possessed. Since the Tinkers are Catholic, it is performed by a priest. High levels of mental health problems are found among Irish travelers. In 2010, the suicide rate was 6 times higher than the national average, accounting for a shocking 11% of traveler deaths. The Tinkers do not have a very good education level, generally have poorer health, and higher risk of disability. The Irish travelers' unwritten language is Gammon. Gammon is composed of Gaelic words which have been altered and disguised by various techniques, including adding, dropping, and transposing words. Gammon is only spoken by Tinkers today, and it is passed on from generation to generation. The Tinkers usually had matched or arranged marriages. 90% of the marriages had occurred with the Tinkers were arranged with other Tinkers rather than settlers. The women in the culture had been expected to marry at a young age. Arranged marriages do not occur very often in the country as a whole. On average, the Tinkers have bigger families and marry almost 10 years younger than the settled Irish. The Tinkers have been inbreeding, and about 40% of the Tinker population have the same surname. The DNA comparisons conducted in the course of research found that while Irish travelers originated in Ireland, they genetically differ from the so-called settled Irish people. They genetically differ to the same degree that people from Spain differ from them. The Irish settlers and the Irish Tinkers did not interact unless it was in a necessary setting such as a hospital or a courtroom. The Tinkers were seen as inferior people, and the settlers thought that they should be avoided because it would demean the settlers to associate with them. If there was any contact between the two of them, it was to be broken off as soon as possible. When a settler was caught doing something that wasn't socially acceptable, they were forced to leave the community. Many were forced to become strolling or going women who walked the roads begging and prostituting. It was suspected that many of these people joined the travelers. The women take care of the home and the family, while the men take care of the livestock and the horses. The men also hunted, farmed, and raised livestock. Much like the Gaboozy culture, the men do not generally speak to the women in public. The men and women both can go out and beg, on the other hand. The travelers are a good mix between a simple and a complex society. They are more of a complex society because they have a government, which is pretty involved in the country. They also have social classes, and they grow and raise their own food, not just hunt. They also use currency. Right before the famines, there was a boom in population. However, after the potato famine, over 2 million people died from diseases and starvation. In addition, another 1 million Irish peoples have immigrated. The Tinkers had to make the decision of whether to stay traveling or to go into a government house in hopes of a better life. Over the years, travelers have been harassed and physically assaulted by settled Irish over real or imaginary damages done to their fields and crops by trespassing horses and poaching activities. This behavior to the Tinkers was accepted by the Irish government because the people were itinerant, and it was believed that the Tinkers were causing the issues. The settled Irish had been kicking the Tinkers off of the land in the 16th century. Poverty was a major problem, and about 80% of the Tinkers were landless. In 1585, most of the landlords in Ireland stopped accepting services as a form of pay. Therefore, there were many Tinkers that were forced out of the community. Most families lived in crude sod shelters described as wrenched hovels consisting of one windowless room with walls kneaded of mud and straw and the door impoverished. Vulnerable to evictions were small farmers and cottarers who rented plots of land barely large enough for a patch of potatoes. Many more tinkers were forced out of the community and had to travel in order to beg and collect things or to trade and sell. Many of the Irish travelers were relocated to poorer regions of Ireland in 1652 after their land was taken and they lost the fight with the English. Today, however, the traveler lifestyle has changed dramatically from a few decades ago. Many have embraced the modern culture and became settled, no longer living apart from the mainstream. They stopped traveling.